At exactly 3:12 in the afternoon, Andres took what seemed like an ordinary breath. For 78 years he had lived a simple life. His modest home stood quietly at the edge of town, surrounded by trees that had witnessed decades of memories. Every room carried traces of the people he loved. The kitchen still reminded him of meals his wife once prepared. A framed photograph near the window showed the daughter who now lived far away, and beside his favorite chair rested a Bible worn from years of faithful reading. That afternoon felt no different. He had watered his plants, swept the front porch, and spent part of the day reading the Psalms. Then everything changed. A sudden pain struck his chest, only for a moment. Then silence. When Andres opened his eyes again, he found himself standing in the middle of the room. His body remained motionless in the chair. He looked at his hands. He felt no pain, no weakness, no burden of age, only an impossible lightness. Confusion filled his mind. Then understanding arrived. He was dead, but strangely, he was more alive than he had ever been. A soft light slowly filled the room. It did not come from a lamp or window. It seemed to emerge from eternity itself. Then a truth echoed through his soul. Man is destined to die once, and after that comes judgment. What happened next would take Andres beyond death, beyond time, beyond everything he thought he knew about heaven, judgment, mercy, and eternity. And before this journey ends, you may find yourself asking the same question he faced. What awaits us on the other side of life? Andres stared at the body sitting in the chair. It looked exactly like him, yet somehow it no longer felt like him. The years of aging, the aches, the fatigue, all remained with that body. But he felt none of them. Instead, he felt light, free, awake. The room around him seemed strangely different. Familiar objects remained in place, yet everything looked distant, as though the physical world were slowly fading away. A gentle breeze moved through the room, though no windows were open. Then a beautiful light began to spread across the house. It did not blind him. It embraced him. For a moment, Andres felt both holy fear and perfect peace. God, are you here? No voice answered aloud. Yet deep inside, he heard words planted directly into his spirit. Man is appointed to die once, and after this comes judgment. The truth settled over him. This was real. Death was not the end. It was a doorway. As the light intensified, the walls of the room began dissolving like mist. The physical world slowly disappeared. Andres looked at his hands again. They were his, but now they glowed softly. He realized he was no longer existing as flesh. He was seeing himself as a soul. Soon, images began appearing around him. Not memories, living experiences. He saw himself as a boy running through fields with a kite. He saw his wedding day, the birth of his daughter, his wife smiling from the kitchen. Every moment felt tangible. He could almost step into them. Tears filled his eyes, though no tears fell. A voice spoke once more. God has placed eternity in the heart of man.
I'm finally free.
Suddenly, Andres understood.
I exist.
The soul was
beyond
not
the
a theory.
flesh.
The soul was
Happy
reality
birthday,
itself.
Andres.
Yet understanding
Make a
brought
wish.
new questions. Why wasn't he already in heaven? Why was he still here? Had he made mistakes? Had he failed God? Fear tried to enter his heart. But before it could take hold, another figure appeared. A young, radiant
power
messenger
vested
approached.
in me,
His face carried
I now
kindness.
pronounce
His
you
presence
husband
carried peace.
and wife.
Do not fear, he said. Your soul has awakened. The journey has only begun. The messenger extended his hand. Andres took it. Immediately a wave of peace covered him. The confusion faded. Behind him, the last traces of earthly life disappeared. Ahead stood a doorway of light, and beyond it waited eternity. If you're enjoying this journey so far, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you're watching from today. Hand in hand with the radiant guide, Andres stepped through the doorway. The world he once knew vanished completely. Ahead stretched a realm unlike anything he could describe.
And so
Light
Josue
and mystery
witnessed the
existed
promise,
together.
The endless
Everything
dawn
felt
of
more
the new
real than Earth
creation.
itself. The guide stopped. Another figure appeared. This messenger carried tremendous authority. His robe seemed woven from fire,
Andres.
water, sky, and light all at once.
Tribulation is over.
Andres immediately fell to his
Enter into
knees.
the eternal rest.
"Are you an angel?" he asked. "I am a messenger of the Most High," the being replied. "You have been brought here to see."
Arise, Andres.
The angel extended his hand. A
Your
sphere of
faith
light
has
appeared.
brought you to this
The moment
eternal
Andres
dawn.
touched it, visions flooded his soul. He saw events from his earthly life, moments he had completely forgotten. A car accident that almost happened, an illness that never reached him. A night when he prayed in loneliness, while unseen heavenly protection surrounded him. Again and again he witnessed divine intervention. Tears filled his spirit. So heaven was always near? The angel nodded. God never abandoned you. The vision changed. Now Andres saw countless souls crossing from life into eternity. Some moved toward glorious light. Others wandered in shadows and confusion. Some were guided by songs of joy. Others traveled burdened by regret. "Why are their paths different?" Andres asked. The angel answered, "The choices of life shape the direction of eternity." The words carried tremendous weight.
Every
Andres
step,
remembered family
every
members
stumble,
and friends who had
you were
rejected
there.
faith. His heart
Your
ached.
guidance protected
Is there
me
still hope for
always.
them? "As long as life remains, mercy remains," the angel replied. Those words brought comfort. Then the angel placed his hand on Andres' shoulder. A purifying fire flowed through him. It did not hurt. Instead, it felt as though layers of dust were being removed from his soul. Old fears disappeared. Old burdens vanished. "Prepare yourself," the angel said. "The tribunal approaches." For a moment, Andres trembled, not from terror, from reverence. He knew something eternal awaited him, something perfectly just, something perfectly true. As they continued forward, the horizon opened. Far ahead stood an immense gateway of light, the place where every soul must eventually stand before truth itself. And Andres knew there was no turning back. The judgment was near, and strangely, he was beginning to feel ready. The pathway seemed suspended in endless glory. Every step echoed through eternity. As Andres moved forward, he noticed countless heavenly beings. Some shone like stars, others possessed wings of light. All carried an overwhelming sense of purpose. None looked at him with accusation. Instead, they seemed to know him, as though they had witnessed his entire life. Soon they arrived at what appeared to be an eternal archive. Columns of living light stretched beyond the horizon. Within them existed records of every human life. Words, actions, thoughts, motives. Nothing had been forgotten. Nothing had been overlooked. A sudden realization pierced Andres' heart. Everything was known, even the secrets nobody else had ever seen. The angel spoke. "Do not fear what has been recorded. Remember what was done for you." Those words immediately brought his attention to the cross. He remembered moments of repentance, moments when he cried out to God, moments when he experienced forgiveness. Ahead stood a massive gate, not made of stone, not made of gold, made of pure majesty. "This is the entrance to the tribunal of the Most High." The angel stopped walking.
This is the living
"From here you
archive,
must continue."
thought and motive.
"Alone?" Andres asked. "Without masks, without excuses, but never without God." As Andres moved toward the gate, heavenly songs filled the air. Languages he had never heard somehow became understandable. Every note carried worship. Every sound carried truth. The gate did not open. Instead, it dissolved before him, as if
I
it
finally
recognized him.
understand the
A flood of
depth
light
your
surrounded
mercy.
his soul. Nothing
All
remained
those
hidden.
years of struggle.
No intention, no memory, no wound, no triumph, no failure. Everything stood exposed before eternal truth. And yet he felt no rejection. Only the overwhelming certainty that he had entered the place where truth and mercy would finally meet. The tribunal awaited, and the review of his life was about to begin. The heavenly tribunal contained no walls, no ceiling, no earthly throne, yet authority filled every part of it. At the center stood a book made of living light. As it opened, Andres' life unfolded before him. He saw his childhood, the pain of losing his mother, the loneliness he felt, the first prayer he whispered as a frightened boy. Then came his youth, broken promises, wrong decisions, moments of rebellion, moments when God called him and he listened, moments when God called him and he ignored the invitation. Every event appeared with perfect clarity. Nothing was exaggerated, nothing was minimized, everything was true. A voice filled the tribunal. You were called many times. Andres lowered his head. He knew it was true. Then came scenes he barely remembered, forgiving a man who betrayed him, comforting someone in despair, caring faithfully for his sick wife, offering kindness when nobody noticed. Small actions that seemed insignificant on earth now shone with eternal importance. Andres watched in amazement. Nothing done in love had been forgotten. Every act of faith still existed. Every sacrifice still mattered. Then darker moments appeared. Pride, harsh words, unconfessed mistakes. Moments when he hurt his daughter. Times he ignored another person's pain. The truth hurt, but it did not destroy him. Instead, it revealed reality. Then the tribunal changed. A cross appeared. Not as a symbol, as a living reality. Brilliant light flowed from it and touched every failure,
I'm here for you.
every regret, every wound,
Whatever it is,
every sin.
We'll get through it.
The voice spoke again. What reveals you is not what condemns you. What saves you is the lamp. Grace covered what Andres could never repair himself. Suddenly he understood. Salvation had never been earned. It had always been received. Then his name appeared.
I don't care what
Not
you
written with
think.
ink. Written in light. Written in life. The book of
I don't
life
care what you
bore
think.
his name.
This is my house.
Andres
and you
fell
will
to his
respect the
knees.
rules.
The tribunal was not merely a place of judgment. It was a place where justice and mercy embraced. He remembered the words of Jesus. Whoever hears my word and believes has eternal life. The fear disappeared. Gratitude remained. But the journey was not over. There were still deeper truths to see. Truths about forgiveness. Truths about eternity. Truths about what awaited beyond the judgment itself. And the light carried him onward. If this message is touching your heart, write faith in the comments below. We'd love to know you're watching. The next revelation became deeply personal. Faces appeared around Andres. His father, his daughter, friends, neighbors, people he loved, people he disappointed, people he wounded without realizing it.
I'm not angry.
He saw
Vito, I'm
arguments,
disappointed.
missed opportunities
You know
for
better than to lie to me.
reconciliation, words spoken
We
in
need to talk
anger,
about what happened.
moments when pride prevented healing. One memory showed his daughter silently carrying pain from something he once said. Another revealed someone he could have encouraged but ignored. The weight of those moments pierced his heart. Then Jesus appeared, not merely an image, not merely an
Every
idea,
moment, good or
a
bad,
living presence
led me
filled with
here,
compassion and
to
authority.
this understanding.
Andres immediately fell to
this
his
peace.
knees. Jesus
Look,
placed
I
a
know this
hand
is
on his
difficult, but we
shoulder.
have to talk about the
At
house. We
once,
agreed on this.
every
I didn't
painful
agree to
memory
this.
became
We're
illuminated
past
by
that point,
grace.
organizer. The
The
deadline
wounds
is tomorrow.
Andres caused were not erased from history, but they were touched by divine restoration. You cannot return, Jesus seemed to say, but my love can still reach what you left behind. A river of healing flowed through those memories. Andres watched as grace touched broken places he could never repair on his own. For the first time, he fully understood redemption. Not merely forgiveness, restoration. Then everything changed. The light faded. A darker reality appeared. Andres witnessed a place completely separated from God's presence. There was no sensational horror, no exaggerated imagery, only profound spiritual emptiness. He saw souls trapped by the consequences of rejecting truth. Regret, isolation, hopelessness. The greatest suffering was separation from the one who created them. Why must I see this? Andres asked. Because others still have time to choose. The message shook him deeply. He realized why grace
The
mattered,
fractured beams
why faith
represent
mattered,
our broken
why
bonds,
every day on earth
now
mattered.
gently restored
The vision
by
ended.
the warmth of
Light
divine
returned.
love.
Before him appeared a glorious city. brighter than anything he had ever imagined. This was heaven, the home he had longed for throughout his life. An angel approached carrying the book of life. The pages turned. Then his name appeared. Andres. Joy flooded his soul, not because he had achieved perfection, but because grace had carried him home. A crown of light was placed upon his head, a symbol of belonging. Then he saw familiar faces. His wife, his mother, believers he had loved. They welcomed him with joy. Every burden disappeared. Every sorrow vanished. He was finally home. But heaven held even greater wonders. Andres received a glorified body, strong, whole, free from pain, free from death. He was shown a dwelling prepared especially for him, not built with earthly materials, built through God's faithfulness and purpose. Everything reflected divine love. Everything reflected peace. Then another revelation unfolded. He saw future events, humanity facing turmoil, nations searching for answers, great deception spreading across the earth. Then a glorious light broke through the darkness. Christ returned in majesty, not as the suffering servant, as the victorious king. The forces of evil were defeated. The final judgment arrived. Human history reached its conclusion. Then came a new heaven and a new earth. Creation itself was renewed. The New Jerusalem descended in splendor. God dwelt with his people. No sorrow, no pain, no death, no separation.
Welcome, Andres.
Only life, only
Your
joy,
name
only
is
glory.
written in the book of life.
Behold, I am
Receive
making
this
all things
crown
new.
of pure light,
The words echoed
a
throughout
symbol
eternity.
of your eternal belonging.
Andres saw rivers of life, trees bearing eternal fruit, a restored creation overflowing with beauty. The redeemed lived in perfect harmony. Everyone carried purpose. Everyone carried joy. No jealousy, no fear, no division. Only worship, only love, only peace. Andres finally understood. Eternity was not endless boredom. It was endless discovery. The never-ending experience of God's goodness. His journey had begun with a final breath on
vision of
earth,
harmony restored.
but it ended with something
The
far
eternal
greater.
kingdom
A life that
descends,
would never
bringing
end.
life
A
and
kingdom
peace
that
to
would never
all
fall.
creation.
A home that would
Worthy
never
is the
fade
Lamb,
away. And there,
seated on the
surrounded
throne.
by light, truth, and
We
love,
worship you,
Andres realized that
creator of
eternity had only just begun. Andres's story is finished. But your story is still being written. That is what makes this moment so important. Unlike Andres, you still have time. Time to ask questions. Time to seek God. Time to
Standing
choose
here,
what you will do
realize
with the
the
life
world
you've
is
been
full of
given.
possibility.
The message
A new
of this
day
journey
truly
is
is
not
a new
fear,
beginning.
it is hope. The same God who guided Andres through death knows your name today. He knows every struggle, every doubt, every question, every hidden wound, and his invitation remains open. Not because any of us are perfect, but because grace is greater than our failures. The most valuable moment in your life is not tomorrow, it is now, because now is when decisions are made. Now is when faith begins. Now is when eternity becomes personal. So let us ask the question Andres ultimately faced. Where will your hope be found? What truly matters when everything temporary fades away?
We all
The
walk
answer to
different
that
paths,
question shapes
guided
everything.
by faith.
If this message
moving
encouraged
towards the
you today,
horizon.
write this phrase in the comments. Lord, teach me to see beyond the temporary. And if you enjoyed this story, be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this video with someone who may need encouragement today. Thank you for staying with us until the very end. May God bless you richly. And remember, this journey does not end here. In our next video, we'll explore another powerful story about faith, eternity, and the promises of God. Until
This
then,
radiant
stay
dawn
encouraged,
signifies more
stay
than
hopeful,
just a new day.
and we'll see you in the
It
next
is a
episode.
promise of eternity.